good. Good, drive up, 3, nice. Push hard and spring, good, elbows, nice, 2, 4. That's 1. Different to call up then.
Yeah.
Sound, okay mate, perfect. Right, this afternoon we've got Will Crolla in the gym going through one of his strength and conditioning sessions. Now, if you actually go back in the channel a few videos ago, Will was in on one of the sessions building into his last fight. Now, during that last fight, which he won, he actually rolled his ankle quite badly. So what we're doing now as part of his training a few months on is we're coming into the final stages of that ankle rehabilitation. So he had quite a bad lateral ankle sprain, injured his ATFL and CFL, and we're into the end stages of that rehab. So the first thing we're going to do when Will comes into the gym is start off with a very generic warm-up. We're going to start off with the world's greatest stretch and a dead bug. So just focusing on opening up through his thoracic spine a little bit, open him up through his hips, and start to get him just loading through his trunk, loading through his shoulders, really just getting his body warm and ready for the session. After that, we've got a plate, reverse lunge and bend, and some toe taps. Again, just the second part of his warm-up. Nothing fancy, just really progressing that warm-up on a little bit, starting to load in through his quads a little bit more, starting to still open him up through his T-spine, get him loading his shoulders so that he's ready to go into the session and can then meet the demands of what we need him to do within that session. Just reach across and tap that toe. One more. Beautiful, right. Since Will rolled his ankle, one of the key exercises we've been performing at the start of every session is a single leg overcoming calf raise on the force plate. What that allows me to do is assess how much force Will's allowing himself to express through that ankle at the start of each session. And we've really used that as a guide to really how his ankle is performing and what stage of the rehab we are at. So at the start of this rehab block, we had a massive deficit in his right versus left-hand side, his left-hand side being much weaker. And then as the block's gone on, all we've looked to simply do is using that iso calf raise, decide at what stage of his rehab we can start to begin to incorporate some more heavy strength work and then ultimately some plyometric loading. So we still use it now just as a little bit of a monitoring tool within each session to understand where his ankle is at in terms of that rehab and is there any fatigue that might be manifesting itself that's decreasing how much force you can express through that foot and ankle. After that, we're going to go into some low-level plyometric hopping. So we've got a large volume of hopping for Will to do at the start of this session. The key reason we're going to do such a high volume of hopping is one of the phases we're in now is really about transitioning him from his purely S&C based program, where he was doing a lot of conditioning strength work, back into his boxing. Now within that boxing training, there's going to be quite a bit of skipping, there's going to be a lot of pad work, some bar work, some bag work, and he's going to put a lot of load through that foot and ankle every session. So one thing we need to do is make sure that his foot and ankle is actually prepared to deal with that. So we're going to go through a lot of low-level hopping. This is some double leg forward hops, backwards hops, side to side hops, and then some single leg hops, not performed at a very intense level like a normal plyometric, but performed much more rhythmically, much more of a higher volume to just build up the capacity of that foot and ankle. We're looking much more here at muscular endurance and work capacity than we are necessarily kind of strength or any plyometric adaptations. Nice, mate. No, it's just, depends how it's like me talking about it. Beautiful. Nicely done, mate. Relax there. After that, we're going to come into a pin squat paired up with a seated box jump. We're going to utilise a little bit of contrast training in Will's program just to make sure that we're really trying to bias both some strength and power adaptations. So we're going to go a heavy pin squat and we're going to pair that up with a seated box jump. You put the bar on your back, go thumb distance grip, head underneath the bar, and then you're just going to control the bar down until it settles on the pins. So it's not going to bounce off, you're going to control down, let it settle, and as soon as you feel the bar stop vibrating, that's when you're going to drive back up. Give me 6, please, mate. So drive up, 3. The idea behind this is that heavy pin squat is going to use the post-activation potentiation or PAP effect. So doing a heavy compound exercise before we do a more ballistic exercise is really going to excite Will's nervous system a little bit, and hopefully we can get greater adaptations from that ballistic exercise, in other words, the jump, because it's paired after a heavy compound lift. Lean forward, all the weight in your feet, and then I want a very quick push into the ground. As soon as you start pushing into the floor, I want you to spring up. So little lean forward, push into the ground, and go, okay? Nice, step down for me. Same thing, the moment you start pushing into the ground, push hard and spring. Good, step down for me. So his nervous system's a little more excitable, he's a little bit more willing and able to generate force quickly, and that's then going to express and manifest itself in that jump. So we're pairing a heavy compound with a much more lighter ballistic exercise. Let the bar settle, hips underneath, drive up, 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 up. Good. Step back down. Drive up. Up, 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 up. Come on, you got one more after this, let's go. hips under, big deep breath, drive up, 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 up. Good. Try and land as tall on that box as you can. After that, we've got a really simple weighted pull-up. All we're looking to try and do here is build up strength through that upper back, through that rear delt, through the lats. Because he's been out of boxing for a little while, this is just a really good opportunity to start to get his body ready for when he goes back in. So making sure those joints are strong and robust, then means when he starts to go back into boxing, starts to ramp the training load up. Hopefully we're not at risk of picking up any little niggles through that rear delt, through that shoulder blade, because we've enhanced the strength in that area during this time that we have. Last one. Good, Will. One more set to go. Arms nice and long, fully extend those elbows on the way down. Relax your scap, chin level with the bar. Arms long, pull, 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 pull. Straighten your arms on the way down. Come on, up, up. Good. That's it. Finally, we're going to finish the session with some strength loading specifically through his foot and ankle. And we're going to utilize the K box for that and the tib bar. So we're going to set Will up on the K box, which is going to eccentrically overload him. So essentially, however hard Will calf raises on the way up, the flywheel is going to spin back just as fast and load him equally on the way down. So it's a really nice way to eccentrically overload that foot and ankle joint and gives a little bit of a different stimulus to what we would do from a conventional calf raise. We're then going to pair that up with the tib bar, so looking at loading it through the front of his shin, so we're really getting a nice, well-rounded strength approach to that foot and ankle. That way we can be sure with this session, we've got a little bit of screening at the start with that isometric calf raise that tells me what current condition his foot and ankle is in coming into the session. We've got that extensive plyometric loading of those rudiment hops, so a large volume of hopping to try and bridge that gap between where we currently are with his strength work and the boxing work he'll be starting to go back into. And we've just got some continued foot and ankle rehab and strength work at the end of the session. Last one. Nice. Good job today, mate. Nicely done, nicely done. As always, I hope you found this video informative and useful and it can help prescribe some of your own strength and conditioning. As always, thank you for following the channel. If you have any future questions or any future video ideas or content you'd like to see, please drop it down in the comments below, and I'll see you shortly.